Greetings, fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians who are at home and abroad, no matter what time is it, when you're watching this particular presentation. Sorry, I have some technical issues to work out. Welcome to the Ambazonian Communication Network. My name is Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief and the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pass King Lukong, our own countryman, our Ambazonian FBI. Today, for this episode, for this special presentation, is in defense for the Ambazonian Governing Council. Our leader, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, will be a target of sabotage and acts of Cameroon propaganda, will be propagated to the extent to our forces. So today I will be giving a comprehensive defense of the Ambazonian Governing Council, our Commander-in-Chief, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, my person, your own spokesman, and our forces on the ground. It be very regrettable. Say at this time, when we for the focus ourselves, for counter the message where our international partners, the diplomatic corps in Yaoundé, they present before us a press conference will be made by Diongote, the lapdog of Mr. Paul Biya, where then come to deceive the international community and make false statements about the situation on the ground. Instead of we for respond for them appropriately. Here Namidis for here, they try for counter which way Chris Anu and the rest they do for try for sabotage the Ambazonian Defense Forces and our leadership and our organization. It be very unfortunate at a time where we need for the respond for several things the way they go on the ground. I instead take my time for come for respond to give a defense for the Ambazonian Governing Council and our forces on the ground. But before I do that, I just want to tell our people, fellow Ambazonians, it be very unpatriotic, it be even inhumane, unchristian for somebody who call himself like a pastor, Chris Anu, for come down to the level of calling ADF fighters on the ground who have left their family behind to fight for their country and to fight for the freedom of all of us, including Chris Anu, to call them Cameroon military men. This blackmail must stop. This blackmail have no evidence. It has no substantiation. And as a matter of fact, it is counterproductive. It only helps one person, the enemy. We have heard people like Thibaut Nagy, the ambassador to Africa from the State Department of the United States, tell the Ambazonian people that the greatest problem we face is this so-called infighting, this perceived attack on each other that is being perpetrated primarily by Chris Anu and the IG groups. So I'm going to give a good answer to Chris Anu. I'm going to substantiate my answer and provide for you the basis for the Ambazonian Governing Council, what we are doing on the ground, so that it can cancel all those propaganda and those noise from Chris Anu. So I will come first with this presentation, this video of a presentation of Chris Anu, which he did, I think, a couple of days ago. We have been having a lot of feedback and a lot of demand for our partners who are in the diaspora on the ground to counter and make a statement. But this statement is not really necessary. Left for us, we could just focus on doing what we are doing. But because of you and those people who have listened to him, I think we deserve to respond. So I'll play the video presentation of Chris Anu and I will respond to him appropriately as the video will be rolling, as I always do. So this is a presentation made by Mr. Chris Anu. Pardon me. Let me look for that video. This thing should be in handy. Okay, that is a wrong video. This is a wrong video. Okay, there we go.
One enemy. We
Sorry, this is a wrong video again. I have to apologize. Today is Sunday morning, and as usual, it's a time where we struggle to get kids ready to go and worship at church and stuff like that. So it happens. Whoops. It looks like that video have not been transferred from my mobile device. If that is the case, I will have to do it right now. This is embarrassing. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do the process of transferring this video to my mobile, to my computer, and then we'll go ahead from there. So this might take a couple of minutes, maybe a minute or two. So for the meantime, I'm going to invite you, for those who have not subscribed to this my YouTube channel, since Facebook is suppressing our viewership and do not send notification when we come online. I will take this moment to ask you, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel or to the YouTube channel of the ACN, please do so, and to the Lucas Asu YouTube channel. Those are the official channels where we channel the messages and information of the Governing Council, as well as our activism for Ambazonian self-determination. So please make sure you do that. Okay, the video is ready. Let me transfer it to the system. So I'm not doing this from the ACN television because it takes a while for our technical staff to set up the studio and to get everything ready. I'm doing it directly from my own computer. So please bear with me. It is being transferred. It will take 1 second. Oh, hold on. Yeah. There we go. It's now available. So, for the purpose of television, because later on this video that you're watching will be broadcast live on the ACN television, I will restart everything, and they will cut off everything that I've said already from here. So please bear with me. You're in the era of social media. So, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians across the globe, our IDPs, those who are prisoners of war, Ambazonians on ground zero, in ground one, and those who are refugees as a result of this war for our liberation, you are all welcome to the Ambazonian Communication Network. My name is Capo Daniel. I am the Deputy Defense Chief and the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council. Today is Sunday, the 7th of the month of August, 2022. You are welcome. Today's episode and presentation is titled A Response to Chris Ano and the Facilitators of Cameroon Propaganda Within Ambazonian Struggle. The Ambazonian Governing Council and the Ambazonian Defense Forces and our officials have been the primary target of Cameroon propaganda. Our Facebook pages have been cloned. Our personalities are being misrepresented as Cameroon seeks to use credible Ambazonian leaders, Ambazonian personalities to misinform our people and pass propaganda information to them that is meant to cripple them, confuse them, and make them to abandon the resistance against Cameroon rule. Today, I am going to be responding to propaganda which are unpatriotic, which are unchristian, by Christopher Ano, the elder brother of Oliver Leke, who have just died recently. One would think that after the loss of his brother, Chris Ano will be a little bit tempered and will wash his mouth. But instead, Chris Ano have gone on air and called Ambazonian fighters that fight under the Ambazonian Defense Forces, who have lost their life in battle, as Cameroon military soldiers. This is a sin. This is immoral. And I appeal to everybody who is associating themselves with Chris Ano to disassociate themselves from him. He do not deserve your attention. He do not deserve your support, or even for entertainment purposes. For those who go there for curiosity to see his ammunition, He doesn't deserve that. Anybody who will call somebody who have died after watching those pictures of those 11 soldiers, instead of mourning them and feeling sympathetic to their family, even if you disagree with us, calling soldiers on the ground who have died as Cameroon military when they were fighting against Cameroon military is just pure wickedness, evil, driven by jealousy and hate, and driven by Cameroon, not just Cameroon propaganda, but Cameroon government itself. So I'm going to play the video of Christopher Ano, and I'm going to address it square on. I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to know that there have been no evidence whatsoever provided by those who seek to blackmail the ADF and our top officials that they are working with La République du Cameroon. On the contrary, I'm going to provide for you information that will define them in your eyes, and hopefully that will squash all this blackmail forever. But first, let's go to the video of Christopher Ano, and I will be talking over it, and I will be interjecting myself to explain to you what is going on. This is a presentation done on his television channel, the ABS TV. So, for purposes of copyright, we give credit for this video to him, and we are going to play a portion of it that we want to address, the portion that are of interest to us. So let's go ahead.
A chief guard who joined from Mbengwe, Talk and Do who joined from Bafut, Rasta, Puyo, and then they say several wounded in the stampede, which indicates that there were quite a number of ADF fighters gathered at the location. Several wounded in stampede in the brush, in the ravine. I think they mean to say in the bush, in the ravines, including some leaders. Now, it says pseudo General Mombasa right arm of big number. I don't know what they mean by that. I don't know what they mean to say the right arm man to big number or what, I don't know. And then again, this is the report coming from the Republic of Cameroon's side. It's a professional care and evacuation.
So, fellow Ambazonian, this is Chris Ano reading a report from the Cameroon Ministry of Defense, a report that was presented to many journalists to report about the Cameroon narrative of what happened in the attack that took place against our mother base, our headquarters in Batibo. The Cameroon military attacked us on the 30th, on Saturday, till Sunday morning in Batibo, where we succeed to drive them back and I will retake the areas where they captured. In the course of this battle, 11 Ambazonian fighters under the ADF were killed. These are fighters that were brought all over Ambazonia. So instead of Chris Ano reporting this story and telling our side of the story, in that battle, Cameroon lost over 24 of their troops, according to information we have gathered from our intel within the Cameroon military. 24 of their troops died and many more were wounded. They evacuated their dead and wounded through helicopters. They made 4 trips to carry their dead and wounded in the forest of Batibo. So for Chris Ano, who is supposed to be representing Ambazonia, he's speaking now. I don't know if he's actually talking on behalf of the revolution or he's speaking as the spokesman of the Cameroon military to tell the people and the world about what the Cameroon military is saying. For the most part, I think Chris Ano is now more of a journalist, because most of the forces that used to be under them, they have tried to kill all of them. From General Sagad, his brother was telling Sagad he's going to kill him, he's going to kill No Pity, he's going to kill, one time they threatened to kill Commando, they have threatened to kill the forces in Batibo, they have threatened everybody after failing to kill everybody. And all the forces that were paying allegiance or even calling the names the Ambazonian Restoration Forces have quit them, have withdrawn themselves from their command and control, and have become and are looking for where to fit in. Most of them have adopted the unity warrior cliche that is going on the ground. So Christopher Ano, now who have been reduced to nothing. He have nobody on the ground. He speaks for basically nobody. Himself and Harrieta and some few people in the diaspora who are looking for fame. He comes out to speak on behalf of Cameroon. He ignored all the information that have been provided by Ambazonia, by our own forces, even the audio we have released from our own center command from the ground, let alone the information our communication department have put out there. He comes out to lie. And I want to draw to your attention the names of the soldiers he is calling that were killed, supposedly killed in Batibo by the Cameroon military, who were ADF fighters killed in that operation where the Cameroon raid our headquarters. All these names were names provided by the Cameroon military, and he could have, if he had done just a little bit homework, he could have noticed. He could have noticed that this was pure propaganda. As a matter of fact, we had actually come out and make 2 presentations to inform the people that the Cameroon government was seeking to prop up the image of General Buba, who recently was deployed to Bamenda, and so they turned to propaganda. So the name Chris Anu is reading out for supposed Amazonian fighters who were killed in this operation of Cameroon against our forces in Batibo were not true. What happened was the Cameroon military, they just gathered the names of fighters who had died, or some of them who were killed recently in Bambui, and they mixed the photos and share on social media. So people who are not connected with the forces on the ground would have taken those images as fighters who were killed in Batibo. Most of them were not. As a matter of fact, you can look at the name. It was even published by Mimi Mifo. Let me get that. This was published even by Mimi Mifo. This image you see on the ground is the name of the soldiers who were killed, who were displayed publicly in Bambui. One of them is Commander Rasta, and the other one is Puyo, which were the first 2 names read by Chris Anu. Let me play it back and let you hear.
In the bush, and then they say several wounded in a stampede. Blessed, a chief guard who joined from Mbengwi. Talk and Do who joined from Bafut. Rasta, Puyo, and then they say.
So Rasta, who was killed by the Cameroon military, is a fighter in Bambui. Most of them in Bambui, you know, the meta politics of tribalism have made many soldiers in Bambui to just go dark. Most of them are living in the civilian. So some of them got into a fight in a Sansan place there in Bambui, and because of that, one of them killed a civilian who went ahead and bring the Cameroon military to kill them. So the Cameroon military displayed their bodies on the street of Bambui, and their names were included in Cameroon propaganda. And Chris Anu, who does not even know what is happening on the ground, because if he knew, he could have known that Rasta was killed in Bambui and had nothing to do with Bambili and the ADF. But he's reading merely representing Cameroon propaganda that was meant to prop up Cameroon general. And he also mentioned even General Tokandu from Bafut. This is General Tokandu today in action. This is General Tokandu in action. Some of those videos are classified videos. General Tokandu is in Bafut from the 7th Kata, and he is alive. He went on action yesterday, and there is a video of that action that will be in circulation. So Chris Anu is reading a fake list of people who died or people who were wounded in that operation, simply just representing the Cameroon military. So my country people, what I want to show you people is that Chris Anu is out of touch. The information he gets are just information he picks up on social media. Many forwarded from him by Cameroon intelligence officers. I think maybe he does not even know. But if he actually had any connection on the ground, apart from the people that comes on his shows, like Sama Thomas, who of the Tabi Kwifo of Mancon, and they come and sometimes he doesn't even want them to listen. He just uses them because now all he's focused on is the view. He needs money to run his life and his show and all those things. So anyway, I'll play the video, but I just want to show to you proof that these are the proof that Chris Anu is not credible. The information he provides, he has no way to verify them because he just sits in America, collect things from social media and put them as reality. So Cameroon government are taking advantage of this. We know that he works with them and we have the proof. But some of the operatives forwarded him messages that he just read online as true when they are mainly Cameroon propaganda, as you can see. The list of the soldiers killed listed here by the Cameroon Ministry of Defense are all soldiers who are still alive. Mombasa is not even is a part of soldiers in the Atlantic State who is not even involved with the ADF in any shape or form. So that list is just a list to prop him up to Cameroon citizens who don't know about what is going on, and they'll just hear those names, general here, general there, and they'll take it for it. So I want you people to know for sure that Chris Anu does not have credible information. He's not credible either. So let's continue.
Wounded in stampede in the brush, in the ravine. I think they mean to say in the bush, in the ravines, including some leaders. Now, it's a pseudo general Mombasa right arm of big, the Republic of Cameroon's side. It's a professional care and evacuation of wounded by helicopter. Continuation of the mission despite the injuries. Reliability of intelligence. I guess they are telling us, they are trying to explain to us how their mission was successful. There's professional care and evacuation of wounded by helicopter. I don't know whether the wounded here refers to the ADF fighters or their own soldiers. I cannot tell from their report. Then it says continuation of the mission, or the mission continued despite the injuries. Again, I cannot tell whether the injuries here refer to their injuries or injuries sustained on the side of ADF fighters or Amber fighters.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know what is going on. The Cameroon government have been struggling to cover up their dead and their wounded. This can be seen in the report produced by international media such as BBC, Voice of America, and local media people, including Mimi Mifo and ACA. Is it ACN, the other media guy there? We have told our people that Cameroon suffered a lot of loss. In Enugu, for example, almost an entire unit of the Cameroon military that ambushed a particular house was almost wiped out by our soldiers. The Cameroon government is struggling to deny this fact. The journalists have their sources within the Cameroon military, and they know that what our report is accurate. They have witnesses on the ground who had reported similar incident. So what Chris Anu is trying to do is to minimize the Cameroon loss, try to pretend that he does not know whether those wounded are Amazonian fighters or La Republic fighters. Of course, any person who is rational and in his normal mind, reading a statement coming from Cameroon government, stating about their own loss and what impede them from continuing their mission, will naturally know that they are talking about Cameroon military dead and military wounded. So why will somebody go out of his way of reasoning to try just to lie that he does not know, pretend that he does not know whether they are talking about the death of Cameroon fighters or Amazonian fighters? This just shows you how honest he is, and he is not a gentleman. He's not honest, he's a liar, a straight-faced liar, and he thinks less of you. He doesn't think that you would even notice. So we will continue to play it and let you understand what is happening. The reason is Cameroon dead and wounded. It's a big blow to their morale. It discourages their government and their government officials and their citizens who think they are winning this war, and it sends a powerful message to the international community that will put more pressure on them. So Cameroon interest is to hide their debt and to minimize their losses. That is exactly what Chris Ano is doing, speaking for Cameroon, trying to do the dirty work of the Cameroon Ministry of Defense better than them.
Or injuries sustained on the side of ADF fighters or Amber fighters. And then it also talks about reliability of intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, let's note this. This is important because here is where blacklegism comes in. La Republique says they were able to carry out this mission in Batebe successfully because of the reliability of intelligence. And then he also talks about the planning was good And then the presence of guides. Again, this will have to do with blacklegism. Blacklegism, the presence in Bible of guides, which means those who led them to the location. And then good coordination, they say, was another factor. Say good coordination while driving. That is, why driving to the location where these fighters were located. And number two, density of vegetation, slowing down progression.
So first of all, Chris Arno is saying this is very important. And let's take him for his word. He said this is very important. And he says it is a problem of blacklegism. We all know that blacklegs refers to Cameroon spy. People who collect information from Ambazonian fighters and pass them to Cameroon spy, to Cameroon military to work. So blacklegism helping the Cameroon military, it means that they are fighting against real Ambazonian fighters. So how will he explain that the Cameroon government will need guide if indeed the ADF is working with the Cameroon government? Why would the Cameroon government go in carrying a major attack to go and kill ADF fighters if the ADF fighters are working for them? That is why you find him so difficult for him to explain himself, because he's lying. And people who lie cannot flow naturally. They fight, they struggle with words to explain what they are trying to say. So he's just lying. If the Cameroon military is going to attack the ADF, and according to them, ADF is working with Cameroon military, ADF have all those type of things as they're saying, then why would the Cameroon military need guide to guide them there? Why? This is just to show you by his own words that he's just a liar. And then you listen to what he says.
Located. And number two, density of vegetation, slowing down progression. The vegetation, the forest, the bush, so the density, the thickness of the forest slowed down their progression or advance in.
So we have explained to our people that the Cameroon military encountered huge fight from our forces. We showed them what we are made of, and because of our counter attack, the Cameroon military was slowed down. Their mission failed. We stopped them on their path. We actually organized a counter attack that successfully pushed them back, and they actually had to withdraw and embedded themselves along Bamenda Road and in strategic areas where probably they were expecting us to, they were struggling to protect so that we will not launch Operation Sunrise. Some people are calling it a Sunshine. It's Operation Sunrise that was supposed to take place in Bamenda and one other city. So Chris Arno definitely is struggling so hard to help Cameroon sink their message to our people's mind that it was a forest that was disturbing them. But actually, you should know that it was the Ambazonian Defense Forces. Our fire was heavy. I may decide to transfer a video here to show you some of the images which are classified from our counter attack that pushed them out of our territory. So I may put that video, maybe, I don't know. It has not yet been vetted. So I may put that video to give you a glimpse of what was really happening. So nevertheless, let's continue.
The location where these boys were. Now, the analysis, they say, notwithstanding the large number of injured, this operation remains a success. Again, I am suspecting that a large number of injured probably refer to their own soldiers injured during that operation. So notwithstanding the large number of injured, this operation remains a success in view of its more than evocative balance shield. More than its evocative balance shield. The considerable losses inflicted on the terrorists of this locality, they say, in the dynamics of the previous ones.
So Chris Arno is talking about balance sheet, and I think this is a giveaway, because if you look at the language debate, the narrative war that we are having with the Cameroon military, of course we have cried our own loss, because it pains us when any of these boys dies, because we know most of them. We recruited most of them. So it pains us a lot. But Cameroon lost more soldiers against our forces than our forces. Can you imagine? That is incredible. So we have to give credit to Ambazonian fighters, but Cameroon have been struggling to talk about the balance sheet. What did they lose more soldiers than they killed and stuff like that? So Chris Arnold using this word shows you that his information is not just coming from newspaper from Cameroon, but he probably have somebody who is likely working for the Cameroon military feeding him this information.
Will certainly break their momentum and that of their fellows. I need you to get that once more. He says the considerable losses inflicted on the terrorists, they are referring to the ADF fighters, the Amber fighters, the considerable losses inflicted upon them at this locality in the dynamics of the previous one. That means compared to previous damages, will certainly break their momentum, which means will certainly get the Amber fighters maybe laying down their arms and walking away. That is a
So this really shows you how suggestive Chris Anu is towards Cameroon propaganda and towards supporting Cameroon. Why will he suggest that the intention of the expectation of the Cameroon government is that Ambazonian fighters would lay down their weapons and surrender when the Cameroon government themselves did not say that? Why will he? And sometimes he talks about the ADF fighters as Amber fighters, our fighters. So it makes somebody to be confused listening to him. If you believe that ADF fighters are Cameroon military fighters, why should you be calling them Amber fighters? Why should you be calling them our fighters? So he is definitely desperate to lie and blackmail the ADF, and everybody has to see that. And the fact that he considered an attack against the ADF have the capability to cripple and reduce the Ambazonian momentum and discourage our people to give up shows you that he knows that this attack was targeting Ambazonia and our liberation. The attack against the ADF is what it is. It is an attack against Ambazonia. The ADF represent Ambazonian interests. We have been given Ambazonia momentum. Our communication, our diplomacy, our organized structure have been formidable to project Ambazonian power and reflect our narrative to the international community, frustrating Cameroon attempt to change the narrative, deceive the international community. They cannot do that because of us. And Chris Anu and Cameroon government, their expectation was that this attack will cripple Ambazonia and stop this liberation movement. But they have failed. And look, listen carefully to Chris Anu, and then you will know where his heart is and where he is pushing people to. So listen to him.
And this is coming to you from the Colonial Military Report. It says the amount of the people, the fighters they kill will lower the momentum on those left. And then lastly, it says maintaining the pressure will certainly reduce or even annihilate the I don't know what it means by up for activity. Up for activity, I don't know what that means, but I guess what I can conclude from there is that they are saying that that action that they carry out is going to bring down the level of Amber fighters activity. Probably, if not in that immediate vicinity, they are referring to the entire Ambazonia. Of course, they have been expecting that in Libya Lab 2.
So, Chris Anu, the tell on our way to where the Cameroon government is expect. They be say by killing the ADF fighters, by trying to kill General Efang, our supreme commander, it is going to affect all the ADF, all Ambazonian fighters, because the ADF is the only organization that provides both moral support, ideological support to the entire Ambazonian forces, and even material support. We have been crucial in providing explosive bullets to many forces, including the huge forces that are the most prominent forces on the ground. We have been doing that. So that is the intention of the Cameroon government. And Chris Anu is having difficulties to say those words. In other words, his intention is to come and play with Ambazonians so that they don't pick it up. They don't wise up and be better to free themselves. And for them to counter the intention of La Republique du Cameroon by standing for the ADF fighters, by standing for their victory, by seeing their victory over Cameroon in Batibo as something for them to build on their momentum and to counteract what Cameroon intend. If you are actually fighting for Ambazonia, and then you know the intention of Cameroon carrying out this mission, wouldn't you protect Ambazonian momentum? Wouldn't you counter Cameroon propaganda and expectation? But here you are trying to further it. This is proof that you are the one working for Cameroon.
The killing of Field Marshal, that the activities of Ambazonia restoration fighters will go down. Their momentum will go down, if possible die down, according to La République du Cameroon's intelligence. That is left for tomorrow. We are going to see whether the momentum actually dies down. Ladies and gentlemen, we are again going to see if the momentum dies down. Now,
so this is very revealing. This is what Chris Anu looked forward to observe whether the momentum will die down. Why will you be having expectation for a lower momentum if you are actually championing Ambazonian struggle? Wouldn't you be trying to prop up Ambazonian momentum? So you are now, Chris Anu is publicly stating that he and La République du Cameroon have similar expectation. What he looks forward to is for the effect of Cameroon propaganda. He does not try to counter it. He does not try to protect our people from having the psychological damages that Cameroon wants to inflict upon them. But instead, his expectation aligns squarely with that of the enemy. So you should see him, as the Americans will say, where he lives. If he speaks like a dog, he barks like a dog, he shits like a dog, it is definitely a dog. So let's continue.
I'd like to say this before I bring in my informant here this afternoon or this evening. This keeps on happening again of Batibo.
So
we have lost some of the best.
First of all, he says that he wants to bring his informant. He was talking about Sama Thomas. So the only two people that gives him information, they are just informant. And these are people they paid money to in the diaspora so that they can in turn look for forces who are loyal to them and ask them to make videos to say that those forces are loyal to Chris Anu or the IG. And now they have only two people in the Chris Anu and Marianta's camp. That is Sama Thomas and the guy in Canada there who works with Grandpa Bali. And all of them have come out to say that they are not interested in the IG. But because they can give money, sweeten these guys in the diaspora that they consider as informant. If these guys were actually part of their group or they were working with them or for them, they wouldn't be calling them informant. And tomorrow they will be doing draft in the name of Ambazonian forces. So these guys are just people who are dishonest. They have no honor, no dignity. They do not even hold the Ambazonian people with high esteem. Because it takes really somebody who don't respect you to lie to your face, especially when there are evidence of the contrary. Probably they never knew that Ambazonia have Capo Daniel at the governing council, your vanguards, and we will never fail you. Let's continue.
Of our fighters in Batibo, and every time it happened, the ADF was involved, directly involved. I mean directly, not even indirectly, but the ADF was directly involved. We remember the killings of our fighter, General Biabia, and
so this boy is just a liar. He says that every time Ambazonian forces dies, the ADF is involved. He was trying to link it to the attack in Batibo that kills Ambazonian forces. So he's now saying that the Ambazonian forces who died are the ADF forces are Ambazonian forces. So how contradictory. He has said that those forces came from all over Ambazonia. And at the same time, he was asking people, where is the ADF? When he himself is saying that the ADF comes from all over Ambazonia. And now he's saying that every time a force dies, ADFs are connected to it. Remember that the forces he's now talking about, General Biabia, they died in Gozang in an incident that involved an actual cross-fighting. They were fighting each other as a result of a conflict. It's not like an ADF came and ambushed them. They came there, they arrested them, they were having a dialogue, and an ambush ensued. ADF lost fighters there, they lost fighters. And Chris Anu, he says that every time fighters die, when La Republique kill fighters, ADF is involved. That is not true. That is just lie. ADF is the main force is the biggest force on the ground, carrying out the most significant actions against Cameroon. ADF General Mba Ivor, all his actions and what he has been to our people surpasses all Ambazonian fighters if we put together. But we are not there to be comparing each other because that is what the enemy wants. But everybody has to shine for Ambazonia, and we must let the boys shine. So Chris Anu, according to him, every time Ambazonian soldiers die, ADF is involved. It means that ADF is working with La Republique, which is a lie. But let me show you who works with La Republique according to his logic. This is his brother, his younger brother, who was killed. In Chris Anu's own testimony explaining how his brother died, FM Olivier Lekeke, he said that he was killed by the Red Dragons. And now we can see the Cameroon military were there when Olivier Lekeke was killed. A minute. That's what I do. What are you doing like that? I'm sorry, I had an interruption. So according to the logic of Chris Anu, what he is saying, that every time Ambazonian soldiers are killed or Ambazonians are dying, ADF are involved. That means that ADF is working with La Republique, which is a lie. But these are the facts that suit his logic. When his brother was killed, but according to Chris Anu, he was killed by the Red Dragons. This is picture evidence that La Republique du Cameroun was there and they killed his brother. These are the pictures. So the Red Dragons was there when Olivier Lekeke died. So it means the Red Dragon is the one working with La Republique. And that is La Republique there. Because you, Chris Anu, have said that the Red Dragon killed him. We saw the Red Dragon helping Field Marshal or people that look like the Red Dragon carrying his corpse on Bensikin to the helicopter place where he was picked up. So, as a matter of fact, according to his logic, the Red Dragon is the one working with La Republique. But we know that the Red Dragons have many factions with different loyalties. At times, we have even supplied them with weapons and financial support because we are a patriotic and nationalist movement. It is just bad every time somebody comes and says something without any evidence or substantiation when there are evidence of the contrary. So his lie that ADF is working with La Republique is dangerous, is unpatriotic. Let me
ladies and gentlemen, is that these fighters, General Bia and so many, we are talking about 15. And the worst of it, ladies and gentlemen, is that these 15 happen to be some of the best in Ambazonia.
So Chris Anu is talking about the 11. It's actually 11 Ambazonian Defense Forces, ADF forces, that was brought from all our barracks across the territory that were killed in Batibo. He's now saying that those were the best Ambazonian fighters. How could you say that they are Ambazonian fighters? In the same mouth, you are saying that they are La Republique. There can only be one of those. So this is a liar. He contradicts himself. You cannot have clean water and dirty water coming out from the same mouth. The dirty water will prevail. So Chris Anu, the fact that you are contradicting yourself shows that you are just a liar, unchristian, somebody who is supposed to be a pastor.
Oh, they were coming from all over. Some were coming from Bui, some were coming from all the way from the southern zone. Some came from all over the place, Some were there from the BLM.
So Chris Anu is telling you where all the ADF fighters are coming from Le BLM and all places. The same Chris Anu will turn around and tell you that where is ADF? There is no ADF. So
have a held belief that the ADF has been fighting alongside La Republique du Cameroun military. And as I guess this is the case of dog eat dog.
So first of all, for copyright purposes, Dog eat dog was a term I, Capo Daniel, introduced in this struggle when Sami was killed by General Nyi in the great state of Boyo. So people who are borrowing this word should give me credit for bringing up dog eat dog in the context of our liberation struggle. So this is so wicked that soldiers who have left behind their families and their boys to come and fight for Ambazonian freedom, to carry out a major operation that was supposed to put us on the map, have been sabotaged by facilitators, internal enemies, for no justified reason, no substantiative reason for them to do so. And therefore, it is so bad. Chris Anu, the worst of them, come out to call these Ambazonian forces who died, killed by La République du Cameroon while trying to defend their country, as Cameroon military. Is just wicked. And it has to stop. Our people have to call them out. You have to stop being entertained by them. And I can imagine who is even following them. Who are those who claim to be members of these wicked people? These wicked people. Because of time constraint, you could hear I was distracted there by interruption from my some other obligations I have. I'm going to stop this episode, but it is quite a long show. I have enough material to provide for you, including video footages of our fighters, and I'm going to present them to you later on. I'll close the show with a video of Ambazonian forces in the counter when their Kamanso intervened in Batibo during that operation, and we retook Anye and we stabilized the situation on the ground. So please pardon me, this video I just transfer it now. Okay, this is just part of the videos. It has not been declassified, so I may run into trouble with the governing council after playing this. But okay. This
music, let the music play.
So these are the Akamanso when we retook Anye. Our forces going there to back up the unit that was under attack after we have pushed them back from Awai. The ADF was a very big force. We had over 400 forces on the ground, all of them armed to their teeth. We fought back Cameroon major attack against our headquarters. We pushed them back. They lost more forces, contrary to what their propagandists and Chris Anu is saying, than the ADF. The balance sheet comes for our victory. It was a big victory for Ambazonia, and we cry and we continue to mourn those who have paid the ultimate price, but we will prevail and their sacrifices will not be in vain. Ambazonia will be free, and the ADF will lead Ambazonia into Boya. General Mba Ivo, who was implementing the takeover plan, Boya was the focus of the takeover plan. We have now changed the whole thing and be focusing on Bamenda as a result of people like Chris Anu and people before him who have spent their days to lie about the ADF, to blackmail the ADF and our leadership, and frustrate all of our attempts to free our people. Ladies and gentlemen, be wise, be focused, and ignore the blackmail that are generated by haters who have put forth no evidence or substantiated evidence for what they claim. And there are more evidence of the contrary, and more even evidence of their own associate working for the Cameroon military. Chris Anu have been on the air telling Ambazonians that he will surrender. He has been on the air telling Ambazonia that if without money, if they don't provide him money, he is going to surrender to La République. He has come on air to tell Ambazonia that he made a deal with La République du Cameroon to provide money to his cohort, Chris Anu. So I will leave you people with an image of the Ambazonia Defense Forces, your army on the ground, for you to take pride in them and be rest assured that we will defeat La République du Cameroon on the ground.
Susanna! When shall I see my girlfriend? Susanna! When shall I see my family? Susanna! When shall I see my mother? Susanna! Oh, Susanna! Oh, Susanna! Oh, 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 yes! Put on! Put on! Put on! Put on!
Until I reach Boya.
Until I reach Boya. I will never leave my journey away. Oh, until I reach Boya. I will never leave my journey away. Oh, until I reach Boya.